Gielinor, the magical world of RuneScape. It's divided into chunks for easy use. Welcome to Chunkman Dead Die Kill, the series where I conquer the landmass of Gielinor by doing tasks and unlocking chunks. Last episode we unlocked 3 chunks by doing 3 tasks. These tasks were completing the Big Chompy Bird Hunting quest, together with the follow-up sub-quest of Recipe for Disaster, freeing Scratch. The other task was completing another 25 easy treasure trails for a total of 375 easy caskets opened now. Our map expanded with the Forgotten Cemetery in the wilderness, the Goblin Mine also in the wilderness, and lastly a small bit of land on the eastern coast of Moslo Harmless. Today we start off with the newest quest in the game, which is completely within our current map, so pretty much a free chunk. With the Giants Foundry now released, we have the quest accompanying it, Sleeping Giants, and as it is in the Giants Plateau over here, we can start it without any issue, and it is all within this chunk. So this is a fairly free chunk we are going to get, as this quest will probably not take that long as well. We see there is a hill giant here with an option to strike it instead of to attack it, so let's try that. Kovac here, the giant, invited us into this kind of workshop it seems, and he wanted our help, so let's see what he wants us to do in this place. Kovac here wants us to fix the workshop to show the other giants they were a civilized race. So let's see what we need to fix. Let's fix this broken polishing wheel first. Next up we have a grindstone to be fixed. And then we have a broken trip hammer we need to fix as well. I think that is the full way of making a sword. So everything is now fixed, so let's talk to Kovac to see what we have to do now. Kovac made sure everything was working in order, so you can see everything spinning and doing what they need to do. So time to make a sword. First of all, we need some metal to make a sword with. Let's look through the crate here from Kovac where he has collected some things for us. There we go, that's a lot of bronze bars and even some equipment. And we put everything in the crucible here. So let's put in the bronze bars, the iron bars, and then all of the equipment. And there we go, the crucible is now full. The sword we are currently making is a flat broadsword, so we need to make sure that the mold here is set up to make a sword like that. So we can make a forte with broad 8. Then the blade itself will be also Medusa blade, and we'll end up with a saw tip. Pretty strange sword, but that should do the trick. Now it's time to pour in the hot metal into the mold we just made. We need to pick up this mold here, but it's really hot as the metal was just heated, so let's just pour over a bucket of water. There we go, now the metal is cooled and we can pick up the sword. We get the menu of what we need to do, but let's ask Kovac what all of this means. The upper bar is the quality of our sword, the middle bar is the temperature, so we're currently in red, which means very hot. And then we have what we need to do, and the first one is the trip hammer, and the red means it needs to be red temperature, so very high temperature. So let's go and do that first. The sword is cooling down a bit too much, so let's reheat it again. That's the first stage done. Now we need to make sure the sword is a bit cooler before we can use the grindstone. So we might as well use the waterfall. And that's the grindstone done, and next up, the last part is the polishing wheel. Let's cool off our sword until the green part, and then let's finish that sword and give it to Kovac. And there we go, that's the sword completed. The blade we just made was apparently for Obar, the boss we already finished, so it's a good thing we finished him before he got stronger by the weapons we made here. And that's the end of the quest with giving Kovac the sword. We get 1 quest point, 6000 smithing experience and access to the Giant's Foundry. Mentioning Obor, and we have a bank chest here while we are here on the Giant's Plateau. This would have been a great addition if we had this bank when we were going for the Obor keys over here. But anyway, that was the quest completed, Sleeping Giants. Let's finish it on our spreadsheet and then let's see which chunk we are going to get. That was a nice and fast quest. Sleeping Giants just added and already complete. For 68 quests completed in total now and 213 landmass chunks unlocked in total. And then back to our map we go. The last chunk we unlocked was the easternmost part of Mosla Harmless, which was fairly useless. Doesn't change much as we could already unlock the other two. But let's hope we don't get any chunk over there as we cannot get there anyway. Still looking for something useful. Mostly the islands we see forming here, like Dragontooth Island, Caterby, the Karamja chunk and Shades of Morton. But let's see, what are we going to get? Pick a chunk. Okay, starting off with some water, so that's a reroll. Pick a chunk. And we get the combat training camp. We cannot get in here before we've done one of the quests with West Ardoin. But if I am correct, there should be one tile to walk on here, which means we can go to the outpost. And with the outpost, that also means we would be able to finish the Witchhaven quest. Here at the wall, just beside West Ardoin, let's see if our chunk that we just rolled gives us the passage. It should be one tile, but let's see. Let's unlock it. And yes, we get a straight path to our newest chunk and then to the outpost chunk. So this is actually a great unlock. We were doing the Slug Menace quest, so we are going to continue that, and we were going to Jorl in the outpost to ask him some questions, as we found a dead sea slug and a gate in the Witchhaven dungeon, and all of the people in the town of Witchhaven were acting suspiciously. Here at Jorl, we presented him with the inscriptions we got from the door, and he says it is a text that is about the great battle between the Saradomin temple and something called the Maheish Medrun, whatever that is. And that seems to be another name for Mother Malum. And that is what is after the door, as it seems the door was constructed to keep it inside. Savant then filled us in on the details of what Mother Malum is or was, and apparently it was a great evil from a long time ago, and it was controlling all of the influential people of that time with sea slugs. So the sea slug we found, the dead one, outside of the gate means that they are chipping away at the gate and doing the same thing once more. We don't really have any way of enforcing the door to make sure that Mother Malum doesn't escape, so let's see if Colonial maybe knows something about that. Colonial mentions that it is probably the mayor who is renovating the shrine that is probably trying to break out Mother Malum, and we should have a chat with the priest of Saradomin to see if he can help us with this issue. And we get a cutscene where the mayor just goes outside of the church. Let's see what the priest has to say about that. And he doesn't look all that great. Brother Maledict says that there are some pages missing from a book that would shed some more light on the shrine, but they were stolen. So most likely the mayor is to do with that, so let's just have a look on his desk. Alright, that's page 1. And the rest should be in the city, so let's just look around in the fish shop first. And the owner of the fish shop just got one on hand. He just received it as someone shoved it under the door before we came to the shop, which is kind of weird. Let's talk to the colonel to see if he knows where the last page could be. And the colonel seemed to have the last page, but it was torn in 3 pieces. So let's put it together with some swamp paste, or not. Using swamp paste on these fragments of an ancient text seems to be a bad idea according to Savant, and apparently a dead sea slug is great to make some glue. We do need a cook who is proficient in cooking sea slugs, and like we know from the previous quest, there is a cook on the fishing platform. So let's travel there and talk to Bailey. There's the sea slug glue, and let's now just put the pieces into the correct order. And there we go. That's the page completed. The 3 pages speak of a method of making some essence into a specific mystical keystone. To use them on the door we need 5 different keystones, and that is all of the elemental runes and then the mind rune. So we need to go to every altar and make the pure essence into some mystical keystone. So we can use the pages to know how to shape them. So let's shape earth, shape air, shape fire, shape water, and shape mind. And the last one failed, so we'll need one more. And then we just need to empower them, so let's go to each altar for that. And that's the earth rune, that's the fire rune, that's the water rune, that's the air rune, and that's the mind rune. With all these runes, let's return to the gate and fix it with these runes. Back at the door, let's fix it by using all of the runes on it. And then we get a cutscene. And the door opens instead of being fixed. And there's the mayor. So it seemed we have been tricked in opening the doors instead of fixing it. What the hell is that? The Slug Prince. Well and ugly. And the thing is here to kill us, apparently, so let's just make easy pickings out of it. There we go. Not that difficult to kill it. And we seem to be stuck in some goo. And there's Mother Malum, the actual evil. Well, that's also not the prettiest. It seems to want to take us as its host. So let's get out of here as soon as we can. And Savant to the rescue, teleporting us out. And there we go, back at the park. Let's talk to Tiffy to see what is going to be next. Because we now have released Mother Madam, which is definitely a bad thing. Certification is putting us on the case to deal with the slug problem, and for that he also gives us a promotion into the Temple Knight. A bit weird, as we were actually the cause of the issue, but okay. And that's the end of the quest. We get 1 quest point, 3500 crafting experience, 3500 rune crafting experience, 3500 thieving experience, and we now have access to proselyte armor. With the end of this quest there is actually no next quest, so for now we will have to wait to see what happens with the sea slugs. But for now, this was the quest, the Slug Menace completed. So let's go to our spreadsheet, finish that task on there, and then see which chunk we get. We finally were able to complete the Slug Menace quest. It was open for a while after we started it, but couldn't finish because we didn't have enough of the chunks we needed. But we finally did it. The Slug Menace is complete. That was our 69th quest, and we are now up to 214 landmass chunks unlocked now. And then back to our map. The last chunk we unlocked was the combat training camp chunk, which gave us the possibility to go to the outpost, so now we could also get to the Tree Gnome Stronghold chunk. And the chunk above the combat training camp is used for a couple of things, but we would need more than this chunk to be able to do anything, I think. So let's see which new chunk we are going to get. Let's pick a chunk. Oh boy. We get the Cromwick Manor in Sleep. We cannot get here, and there's only 1 quest in Sleep, which is behind all of the Mairiki questline quests, so this is definitely not going to be for anytime soon. As the Slug Menace is the last quest in the Slug line, and we didn't really get a decent chunk which unlocked anything, we'll have to do something else in the meantime. We are 1628 total, so getting the levels would be a bit too steep. So let's just go for another 25 easy clues. And there we go with the next 25 caskets. This was about the same as the previous times we got the clues. We got up to 73 thieving now. So about half a level, maybe just a bit more. Just a quick reminder for the clues themselves. We are currently at 375 easy clues completed, and we have 74 uniques. And we're still looking for the flare trousers, of course. Let's see what we are going to get. That's already our first duplicate, the black skirt. Another duplicate, the willow combo. And that's a new one. A blue wizard robe gilded. And another new unique. A black plate body heraldic one. Do we have them all now? Almost. Just the 4 that we are missing. And there's another duplicate, a steel full helm trimmed. 2 more duplicates, a black kite shield and a Bob's red shirt. And there's another new one, we're getting a lot of uniques. Iron plate legs. And the last few didn't have anything in them. A decent amount of new uniques and a decent amount of duplicates. Not the best opening, but also not the worst. We are currently at 400 easy treasure trails opened, but this also means if we go to the share table, for example, we are now above 1000 total clues completed, with the 600 beginner clues, 400 easy clues, and of course the 1 medium clue. But anyway, 400 easy treasure trails done. That means that's another task done and another chunk to pick. Our 40th clue task, getting really close to the end of the clue tasks, as we only have tasks up to 500 easy clues. But this was 400 easy clues completed, and we got up to 215 total landmass chunks unlocked now. And then back to our map. The last chunk we unlocked was the Cromwick Manor in Sleep, which gives us another opportunity to unlock more of Sleep, which would be terrible to unlock. And pretty much if we look at everything in the Mauritania region, any unlock on this side would be bad, and only Morton is actually a good chunk to unlock here, and then eventually Barrows. But we need to unlock Morton before we can get to Barrows. Otherwise we have Dragntooth Island, but that's about it of useful chunks in this region. All the rest are pretty useless. And then let's see what we're going to get. We still just are looking for anything useful to do a quest or do a diary or anything of that sort. So let's pick a chunk. Okay, starting with some water. That's a reroll. Let's pick a chunk. Oof. The part above the Grand Tree, which we need for Monkey Madness 2, which we cannot access. So this is a pretty bad unlock. We're also going in one straight line to the Piscatorius region. But okay, that doesn't really give us anything to do. That's going to be all for this episode. We've made some solid progress today and will continue next week. If you haven't already, there's a shiny red button and a thumbs up icon you can press to show your support if you like the series. Anyway, see you all next week for more Chunkman progress.